this stuff up. Oh, if you want this final time run, let's get you rolling into the staging lanes, please, Super Comp. Matter of fact, yes, I do. And I said, at the risk of sounding like a complete tourist dummy, where can a guy get a lobster roll? And she said, you know, I have no idea. I've only lived here 4 years. And I went, seriously? You've lived here 4 years, you don't know where to get a lobster roll? So that's my goal tonight. I'm going to find one somewhere. Another quick question, not complaining, just like really curious, but when I punched up the place in my GPS last night, it told me it closed at 9 o'clock. Friday night, restaurants close at 9 o'clock? Huh. Seems a little early when it doesn't even get dark until 8:30.
Hey, Mr. Reinhardt.
Yes?
Can you throw a shout to D1TV sometime through your broadcasts?
No.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Hey, wanted to say hey to everybody that's following around the world on D1TV. Also want to say a big thank you to Mr. Bongiovanni for making it happen through his micro strategies. He's a big sponsor of our D1TV broadcast, and even though he was unable to join us for the event this weekend, I'm sure that Anthony is watching along, and just want to let you know that we very much appreciate what you do for us, and if anybody is in need of some computer solutions, that might be a good place to start. Micro strategies. All right, we get Kyle pushed around the gate out there at the end of the racetrack, and we should be ready to get back after it momentarily. Now, coming up a little bit later on, we are going to see our top dragster and top sportsman categories, and we're very pleased to announce that Tommy Tape, as well as Select Performance, have returned this year to sponsor the top dragster and top sportsman series. Tommy Tape Top Series, presented by Select Performance for both dragster and sportsman, will be the name for the popular categories, and they'll be contested in conjunction with all of the Northeast Division races. Tommy Tape, you can find them pretty easily. TommyTape.com. For Select Performance, just go ask Ed, or look them up online. That's Eric Corey, and this is about to be Kelly Kondratic. Or not. Well, Kelly started to do burnout, car quit, and she just climbed out of it. I'm guessing she's going to be looking at Jeff going, you put the gas in it, right? Thought you put the gas in it. Speaking of Kondratic, if you need Lucas Oil products or if you want to get signed up for the contingency program, he is the guy to see. Oh, that's not good. Eric's car lurched, and he will get no time since the truck left before the tree was activated. Pulled up, pushed the button, and it went, you rang. Well, so far, let's see, what is the official count now? Is that 5? I think that's 5 that are very grateful that this is the last practice run, because otherwise they would have been eliminated. Wow, check out this pair. Brian Sawyer in the sudden impact, he's pretty good. And Sean Frick in the Firebird, I mean, he's not as good as his wife, but he's pretty good too. Do not be surprised if these two cars are both around late tomorrow afternoon. And the guy in the right lane is the reigning division champ, and the guy in the left lane has worn that crown before. Brian Sawyer's 39 years old. He's a financial advisor. When I was 39 years old, the only financial advice I had was how to sweet talk your dad so you could borrow 20 bucks. That might be what Brian does too, for all I know. I'm not 100% sure. I know it worked for me. Yeah, most of the time. 1088 for Sean Frick, 137 miles an hour. 1094, 145 for Brian Sawyer. Now it's Ray Knight, Fox Body Mustang over on the left side, and John Harper. What do you think of that car? Don't you think that would be like the awesomest thing ever to drive on cruise night? Those big old fat meats on the back of it. It's even got a license plate on it. I don't know if it's got a current inspection sticker or not, but that 1955 Bel Air Chevrolet is, what's the word I'm looking for? Sweet. That thing's really nice. Really nice. As a matter of fact, John Harper is a regular here at New England Dragway, former track champ here. A 006 reaction time for Harper. Ray goes red by 1 thou. And a 1095 at 143. So John Harper, 006, 1095, and somewhere back in the pits, Barbara Markelau is going, that's all you got? Bring that weak stuff over here, pal. I'm ready for you. 1099, 132 miles an hour for Ray, because Barb is still best in category. She 10-packed him here on the final qualifying session. Annalisa LeBlanc is causing trouble. You're going to watch that Annalisa. She will cause trouble. Joan LeBlanc. Call me crazy, but I'm guessing these two people know each other. Pretty sure. 1093 at 129 for Annalisa. Joan goes 1097 at 133. Pretty sure, because I mean, if nothing else, back in the staging lanes, they went, hi, nice to see you. Hi, nice to see you. Super Comp, if you're not here, you're officially tardy. That's the last time I'm going to call you. That's general. Quick reminder for all of you Super Compers that are in the staging lanes. Don't forget to see Phil and Don Marcella to get your stickers for the Racing Realtors bonus program. The best losing package gets $100. Yeah, well, we got a prize for sucking. How about that? And we'll get a picture of you and your car on Don's Race for Home Facebook page. Into the top dragster, top sportsman pits down towards the finish line. You guys can find Phil and Don. Get it done. 002 for Dave Markle. And then 1099. And somewhere back there once again, Barbara Markelau is laughing. Jason goes 1087, 132. Okay, looks like Kelly Kondratic was able to get the car refired, so it looks like this will be the last super street car. And this is the difference between practice and eliminations. If it had been eliminations when Kelly's car died in the water box, she'd have been done. Since it's practice, what the heck? Come on up. 1095, 134 miles an hour, and that means, Barb, congratulations. Best in category with a 10-pack. Do that again first round, and I like your chances. I like your chances. Once again, Super Comp. If you haven't yet, check in with Phil and Don Molicella to get your stickers for the Racing Realtors bonus program. And if you do a really good job and still get smacked down, you might at least get a $100 consolation prize. And here comes Super Comp. Exact same rules as we just saw in Super Street. 2 seconds quicker. 8.9 is the target. This class will be all dragsters except one. The altered. And for those of you casual fans, I'm not going to tell you which one's the altered. See if you can pick it out. There will be a test later. Chris Ladiga in the right side. That is a small block engineer. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an engineer. They got really cool hats. I wanted to blow the horn. Woo-hoo. I'm sorry, I just had a flashback to when I was a little kid and wanted to blow the horn. Oh, I can't be the only one that happens to. Wow, Jason Kenny goes 008. What happened? Your thumb slip? He goes 008, and then he runs quads. 8888. Wow, a little smoke down there. Well, that was way down in the shutdown area for Dennis Torito. But it's all a little puff of something. 904, 177 miles an hour is what came up on the scoreboard. Tom Slater and Amanda Wojcicki up next. Tom's in the black car, Amanda's in the right car. They both go red by a combined 100. 007 red to 003 red. Had that been an actual race, Amanda would have won it. Had it been a practice run, both red lights come on. 903, 175 for Tom Slater. 898, 173 for Amanda. And it looks like it's a little slower out there than some of the folks anticipated. Bill Warders and Don Milson coming up next. 1 car, 2 car, red car, blue car. One of the things about racing in these .90 categories, as the weather changes, the performance of your car will change. And you've got to stay on top of that. You've got to keep adjusting for that. If you intend to be competitive and be around late in the day. That's why it's really unusual after all of these drivers had 3 opportunities yesterday. Very unusual to see a 1/10 of a second miss at the dial at this point. Unless, of course, you're Gary Stennett. Then it's not unusual at all. 893 at 176 miles an hour for Don. Bill goes 930. Huh? How do you miss by 4/10? Just to complete the Gary Stennett rate. If you know Gary Stennett, his plan of attack for dialing in the car is to come up the first time and run 8 flat. Come up the second time and run 1050, and then he goes, okay, I'm ready. And it's like, what? But, you know, somehow he makes it work. Chris Fillmore out of Fillmore Truck Repair and Commonwealth Motors, and Rick Rawlison. Whoa, way to go, Rick. How about a perfect reaction time? Perfect. It's perfect at this end. He runs 897, which is a long way from perfect at that end. 933, 161 miles an hour for Fillmore. Fillmore, who, by the way, went deep, and that's why you saw that red bulb come on. You're not allowed to go deep. We'll let you get away with it in practice. Just don't do it next time. That would be bad. That would be really bad. That would be a disqualification. That would be Kristen Tavares in the left side. That would be Joey Cambry on the right side for the folks at Airlift. It's like riding on air. It's like leveling out your rig no matter how loaded it is. $891 for Christian. 171. Now see, that's numbers you can play with. 015, one above. That won't win you a trophy, but it'll win you some rounds. 892. 174 miles an hour for Joey. Left a little bit both on the reaction timer and on the racetrack. And they're going to think there's going to be some considerable head scratching going on after this run is over with. Mike Andrus and Mike Robalato. Mike, meet Mike. Mike, that's Mike. Mike, say hi to Mike. Mike, have you met Mike? Do you know Mike? $888, 178 for Mike Robalato. I think he and Jason Kenny might be the only two that are happy with where their cars are so far. Mike Andrus goes 898 at 159 miles an hour. And for the nitro fish, that's like swimming upstream. We now have Mark Pettit for the Dusen factory. And Ted Cook. Ted out of Tewksbury, Massachusetts. That's somewhere around Boston, I think. Well, I figured, you know, the whole state of Massachusetts isn't that big, so it can't be too far from Boston. That's like, you know, if I live in Riverside, Rhode Island. Where's that? It's near Providence. Well, look at the size of Rhode Island. It's got to be near Providence. It's not like Texas. If you say, I'm in El Paso, Texas, that's near Houston. No, it's not. 893, 156 miles an hour for Ted Cook. 894, 178 miles an hour for Mark Pettit. Here's something to think about just from a geography standpoint. So we're going to learn things today. We're not just going to watch race cars. We're going to learn things. This goes under the just how big is Texas. If you are in El Paso, Texas, you are closer to Los Angeles than you are to Houston. You can believe it or not, but it's true. It's like from my house driving to Houston Raceway Park. I live in Arizona. I'm 130 miles from the New Mexico border. I drive 160 miles across New Mexico, and then the sign says, "Welcome to Texas." And it's 870 miles from there to Houston Raceway Park. Where, oh, by the way, they're racing today on the Division 4 Lucas Oil Track. That's Patricia Blake in the left side. That's Chris Cumming in the right side. That's an 880 at 162 miles an hour for Patricia. That's an 891 at 176 miles an hour for Chris. Listen up in the pits. Attention in the pits. Super Stock, final qualifier. Come on down. Super Stock, we need you to the staging lanes, please, for Q4. Now it's Ray Fredericks and William DeStefano. Take a look at DeStefano's car. That is a older style drag. So look at the way the nose is designed. Ah, yes, they have evolved over the years. 891, 168 miles an hour for DeStefano. Fredericks was 8.904. Actually got there second by virtue of a slower reaction time had that been a race. But it looks like for Ray, he's got the car on the number. Needs to get the driver snugged up a little bit. Now it's Tom Kocher. The sponsor is listed as family business. Well, that's very helpful. And Dave Markle. Dave, who says you need a tire. I mean, I don't mean to quibble, but how often do you need just a tire? Usually if you need tires, it's been my experience, you need tires. .909 for Tom after an 013 light. That'll be a winning combination more than often than not. Dave Markle goes 896 at 172 and an 043 896. That will be a losing combination more often than not. That'll bring up Craig Rice and Mike Bodnar. Rice on the left side, you might have figured that out because it says Rice Racing in great big letters on the side of it. And Bodnar. A little help from Ken Moses and his group. A top 5 player in the division last year. .893 169 for Mike. .893 166 for Craig. Better reaction for Mike. Not Hall of Fame-ish, but better than Craig. Here comes a couple of veterans. Dick Dorr, in the left side, is 69 years old. You know what Chris Garrison calls him? Junior. A couple of big block dragsters. Now, Chris Garrison just does things a little different from everything he does. I mean, look at the downswept headers, look at the mufflers, look at the little bitty front wheels, look at the no wing on either end of the car. And oh yeah, Chris Garrison runs a throttle stop at the top end. He will run wide open at 900 feet and then shut her off. Dorr, his car will almost quit off the starting line and then he'll run 170 miles an hour out the back. Watch this. Doesn't even look like they're in the same race, does it? 892 at 123 to an 898 at 183. 60 mile an hour difference at the finish line. And Chris Garrison does that for a couple of reasons. One, because, well, not many others do. And two, because it annoys everybody else. Hey, it's difficult if you're the other guy. It ain't easy. Now here comes Rich Dorr. We just saw his dad a moment ago. Here comes Rich in a black car. And Jimmy DiTucci And, you know, I told you that I was going to let you with the sharp eyes try to determine which car was the altered. So I'm trying not to be too obvious here, but you might want to pay extra attention to the car in the right lane. The only non-dragster in the category. .885, 164 miles an hour for the altered, 892. And a red light start for Dora. Super stock. Attention in the pit. Super stock. Come on down. James Blake on the left side. Team Follow a Dream. I wonder where the funny car is. Well, Jim's here. Surely he could have found somebody. I mean, I would have driven it. Phil Malichelle on the right side. Reaction times are 006 and 007. I know, 006 and 007. That sounds close, doesn't it? Well, one was red. Does that make a difference? Wow, and then they're 894 and 895. Phil Malichette, red 6 thou, 894. James Blake, green, 895. Here comes Mr. Happy. Don't worry. So it's Mr. Happy and Mrs. Smulligan. That could be like a sitcom on NBC. Thursday at 8 o'clock. Let's check in on Mr. Happy and Mrs. Smulligan. Better reaction time goes to Mr. Happy. Better lapse time by a couple of thou goes to Mrs. Smulligan, 895. With a 2, Bisbano goes 895. With an 8. Kyle Traveris now on the left side, and Emily LeBlanc. The Boston Blitz. Now, see, I was talking about Jim Blake, and he walked up right next to the tower down here. Jim, you should have brought your funny car. I would have driven it. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, come on. Todd Venny drove it. How tough can it be? $809 for Kyle. Kyle, you know what? I'm just going to assume that he's on the Gary Stennett program. We're going to make everybody believe I have no idea what I'm doing and then show up in first round and put the smackdown on him. Tiana Zarella driving that TT Motorsport car, and Tommy Stalba driving the AA Auto Salvage car. So we've got TT against AA. Wow, Tommy Stalba double bulbs. Come on, seriously? Seriously? I believe Tiana didn't have any electronics. 8907, 174 for Stalba. 012 dead 7, that's a 19 pack. That's not bad. Tiana goes 896 at 132, so she was shutting off on the top end, but the way the car left just looked like the electronics weren't working. That's what I think. Mike McIntyre. Atlanta Truck and Auto Repair, Inc. And Bob Hyatt out of Atco Auto Services. Both drivers hit the tree at 005. 888 to an 889. Okay, those two are going to be happy with theirs. So let's see. That leaves what? Jason Kenny, Mike Robolato, Mike McIntyre, and Rob Hyatt is the happy ones with where their car are this run. I think there's definitely going to be a lot of head scratching going on when everybody gets back, looks at the numbers, and goes, "I wasn't supposed to do that." Now it's Howie Smith and Kyle Bigley. When last we saw Kyle Bigley, he was being pushed off the starting line in his Firebird, or pushed off the racetrack in his Firebird after it quit out there at 300 feet. So he'll make this run, and I guarantee you they'll be back in the pits trying to get that baby straightened out, because round number 1 of elimination is going to be later on today. Bigley, top 5 player in the world last year, had himself a pretty good season. Sure, I say nice things about him, he goes red. 887, 164 miles an hour for Bigley. Howie goes 887 at 189 MPHs. And warming up a little bit out there. Density altitude up to 2,440 feet. Still a lot of water grains. A lot of water grains. Bill Krug, Miranda Marsters. Coming up now. 902 for Miranda. 012 dead 2. That's a 14 thousandths package. I do believe that's best in category. A 14 pack. You know, Barb Markle was still the best in Super Street with a 10 pack. Bill Krug goes 009 886. Brings up Stephen Logan and Jamie Madison, part of Team Marsters. Logan hits the tree at 00. Let's see what he does with the O'Reilly scoreboard down there. 892. 169. 892 for Jamie Madison. At 163 miles an hour. And here's Jessica Stadowski and Dennis LeBlanc. Jessica, part of that Willard Racing team, and they've got a bunch of race cars all the way down to the junior level. See, it's funny. I look at some of these cars, the designs and stuff, and think, how would you ever explain that to the painter? And then I look at Dennis's car and say, how do you explain that to a painter? That's easy. Yellow. I just want it yellow. 889.7. Dennis misses perfect by 3 thou, but you can deal with that. 895, 169 for Jessica. Now it's Brad Coryell on the left side. It's David Markle on the right side. It's Markle Racing. I still think it should be Markle Motorsports because the MM. You could do so many things with an MM logo. See, Markle Mega Motorsports Monopoly. There you go. Now you got 4 M's. Think of the possibilities. You could make it Mr. Markle. Then you got 5 M's. If he gets married, gets his wife involved, it'd be Mr. and Mrs. Markle. I was going to keep going until they staged. They were taking their sweet time, so. 891, 161 miles an hour for Brad, who left just a little early. 893, 171 for Dave, who left right on time. Speaking of Dave, it's Dave Rowe. The blue chip team in the left side, and Walter Olt out of Oscars Motorsports. Man, is that thing sparkly. Mega sparkly. Walter's got a shot at being best in category. Well, not if he runs 886. 184 miles an hour, 894, 168 for Dave Rowe. Brings up Chuck Crapella and Timmy Marklew. Check out Timmy's car. That thing is like really sparkly. I think sparkly is a word. By the way, Timmy, you know, Barbara had the best time slip in Super Street, and you're going to have to go back to the trailer. So you might want to put together a 10-pack or better just so you don't have to hear it from her all day long. Listen up in the pits. Oh, attention in the pits. Super gas. Super gas. Come on down. Super gas. 894, 180 miles an hour for Timmy, who was also red. 898, 184 miles an hour for Chuck, who was not red. And now it's Eddie McCleft for 360 Penguin. The digital cameras that will let you see 360 degrees. You see all the way around in a circle and all the way over the top and everything except what's directly underneath it. And if you really wanted to, you can put your logo directly underneath it. They're really cool. They'll fit in your pocket. Ed McCleft had a 008 reaction time, and Nick Willard laughed at him. Wow. 91.3 to a 91.3. If that had been a race, Ed McCleft was just 008, 91.3 is going to get a pat on the head for his efforts. Nick Willard, trip, zip, perfect, 91.3. 13-pack takes down a 21-pack. We will see that at some point in eliminations. And if you were part of the program, that might be enough to get you the $100 from Phil and Don Molishella. It's like a hard luck award when you have the best losing package. When you do a great job and the person next to you does a spectacular job. And sometimes you're terrible and the person next to you is terribler. More terribler. Something. Meanwhile, Jack Stepanek and Doug Marsters getting ready to go. Trying to figure out what these two are doing on the starting line. It's like Taylor and Sean have got some kind of sign language going that only they understand. 888 to an 888. Both drivers are 005 red. And then 888-2 to 888-3. They're 1 thou apart at the stripe. Holy smokes. If that had been a race, I wonder which light would have come on. And I'm being serious, because if they both go 005 red, the computer would have had to figure it out. So Kenny Moses is going to take a solo. I thought he was going to race Sean Frick, but maybe Sean got scared. Moses 018, 889. Now, they told Sean to hold up just a second because they're doing a little mopping out here. I'm still trying to figure out, he and Taylor had some kind of like magical sign language going on. They're going, you know, it was like do the hokey pokey. You know, you put your dragster in, you back your dragster out. You just... All right, they got the lane cleaned up now, and Sean will go ahead and pull back in. And he'll run Jeff Kondratik just for kicks. Looks like this will be the final pairing category. Kondratik in the flat black machine, powder coat finishes and Lucas Oil, and Sean Frick out of Accelerated Travel, which is his bride's enterprise. So final pair, let's see, you got to get inside a 13-pack to be best in category, right? Sean lights the cherry by 1 thou. And then goes 888 at 181 miles an hour. You can work with that. Kondratic goes 894 at 176 miles an hour after being 007. And there you have it. Next time we see those cars, they will be racing. Superstock is getting ready to roll up here now for their final qualifying session. And we want to say a tip of the cap and hey to ATI Performance Products, as we proudly announce a deal benefiting stock and superstock racers in this part of the world. It's the 4th year of the Stock Eliminator and Superstock Series presented by ATI Performance Products. ATI will present the winner and runner-up in both classes bonus purse money. And it is not product or decal contingent. All you got to do is win a runner-up, and you'll receive $500 for a win, $250 for a runner-up in the North Division Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series events. And a big thank you to the folks at ATI for getting on board. Check them out online, atiracing.com. And again, thanks to Anthony Bongiovanni, MicroStrategies, for everybody that is following along on D1TV. We're doing the live stream around the world. That is courtesy of the folks at MicroStrategies. We appreciate everything they do for us. And Anthony, I want you to know we miss you here at the racetrack. Looks like Superstock is rolling in, and I think I'm going to turn the microphone back over to Bill, because the way it worked out yesterday, I got to do all the Superstock activity, which is not a down thing for me at all, but it's kind of nice when you get to see all the cars. So Bill's going to slide in here and tell you about it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Reinhardt. Give you a little bit of a break there. Go right into Superstock. It'll be Scott Giordano out of Staten Island, New York, 87 Camaro, the GTJ automatic, taking on Brittany Bolts. The Bolts 92 Firebird, GTM automatic. Bolts out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, down there in the central PA area. Have to steer themselves around some of those parks down there on the side of the road. 013 for Giordano. Bolts just a little bit quick on the tree with the 015 red. 1056.2 for Bolts. 991.2 for Giordano as he steps it up. That's his best run of the 4, as he was running in the 10 teens yesterday during his 3 qualifying sessions. 56 is about average for Bolts. Next up, Steve Camella, the 68 Dodge Dart, Superstock A, taking on Angelo Lombardi in the 2000 Cavalier out of Stratford, Connecticut. Lombardi a little bit to the right hand there and has to straighten it back out. That's going to scuff off a lot of time there. 009 for Camella. 883 for Camella. 971 for Lombardi. After the right-hand turn, actually ran his best run of the 3 that he has made with that 971. Greg Sutherland comes up right now with the 66 two-door post Chevy 2, taking on Dean Ribeiro. 96 Z28. The J Automatic Superstock and the G Automatic Superstock of Sutherland Chevy 2. But right there with the Sutherland with the 029 runs a 1009, 1088 for Ribeiro. Steve Zupka coming up right now. The McHugh Racing 2018 Camaro. Actually, the Copo 427 taking on Rafi Karagizian in his great-looking last-minute racing 66 Chevy 2. Just a little quick there for Karagizian with the 109. Actually, a little bit more than just a little quick there. A 913 for Zupka, 1113 for Karagizian in the Chevy 2. Jacques Blaze comes up right now. He's got the 98 Cobra, 460 powered, the GTI automatic. He's going to take on Paul Sutherland, wagon, 66 Chevy 2 wagon, Chicopee, Mass. Running the small block 327. Sutherland on the line, 007. Sutherland 1019, 147, 1039, 127 for Blaze and the blue oval. Next pair, Richard K will come up right now. 69 Valiant Mopar powered out of New York. The RK Racing taking on Tony Philippone with his 66 Chevy 2. Boy, K shot right out of the cannon there, but the better light went to Philippone, 009. K, 879. 1075 for Philippone. Next pair to be Eddie Bloom. The Bloomster Racing out of New York. 85 Trans Am taking on Jerry Hatch. The 70 Challenger with the Dodge power plant. He's out of Wales, Maine. The trek down here from the northern part of Maine. Nice wheels up start with Bloom there. The advantage off the line went to Hatch with the 018. It'll be Bloom 934, 951 with a 7 for Hatch and the Challenger. Hey, we have a Murata Sparting here. Greg Gay and his 80 Murata, the BDR Transport out of New Hampshire, taking on Jeff Roel and his 2010 Cobra Jet 428. It'll be a 944 for Roel, 1072 for Gay and the Murata. Jim Reed Jr. comes up right now. Got the 57 Corvette. Gonna take on Mark Lebrecht and his S10. Diamond RE sponsored S10 with the wheels up start. At stripe 998 for the S10. Reed in the Corvette 1018. Bob Letelier with his 2012 Cobra 427 taking on Jeff Jewell and his 67 Corvette. Identical 427 power plant out of Bangor, Pennsylvania. Well, Jewell a 941, Letelier a 1010. Herbie Nell coming up right now out of PA, the 87 Camaro taking on James Daniels, also out of PA with his 87 Camaro. Super gas, super gas. You should be heading to the lanes. Super gas to the staging lane, please. Super gas. Staging lanes, please. All right, looks like we got a couple pieces of paper over here on the tower side lane, so we'll go pick that up. Herbie Nell on 975, 1037 for Daniels and Camaro. All right. Next up, Roy Kinslow coming up right now out of New Jersey with the 83 Firebird. Going to take on James Antoinette, the New York runner, with his 98 Grand Am. $975 for Antoinette, $1070 for Kinslow. Tommy Boucher will come up right now, taking on Arnie Martel. Boucher, the engine builder out of Massachusetts, the 87 Camaro, taking on Martel, the AJM Construction Camaro. Looks like you got a report. We might have something on the track, so we're going to send the crew out there to make sure everything is all set. I don't know. They've got a lot of people. Well, yeah, the wheelie bar doesn't look too good on the Martel machine. And I need junior dragsters. Junior dragsters to the lanes, please. Junior dragsters to the staging lanes, please. Junior dragsters for your second round of qualifying. Junior dragsters to the lanes, please. Got a team of engineers out behind Arnie Martel's car here. Oh, let's see what's going to happen here when it comes. we go. Still don't think that wheelie bar is quite right. Well, we'll see what goes on here. Well, here we go. 0:59 reaction time for Arnie Martel. But it will be Boucher getting there first, 981.3 to a 1022.5. All right, well, we've got to take one more quick here to make sure we got a piece sitting on the track there. Next pair to be the Bounding Beagle. That's Eric Merrifield taking on Tim Stickles with the Beluga Junior Tribute Malibu. We'll take a look and see where this Bounding Beagle goes. Nice wheels up launch there, just past the 60-foot mark there from Airbus. Gets a little close to the center line. Gets straighten it back out. 11:01 for Stickles, 10:57 for the Bounding Beagle of Merrifield. Junior Dragsters, need you to the lanes, please. Junior Dragsters for your second round of qualifying. Eddie Chin's come up right now. The Chin Racing 90 Calais will take on Byron Warner out of Duncannon, Pennsylvania, the firefighter. Part of Team Genesis. Going to be Warner taking the stripe first, 997, 109, 1084.7 for Chin in the Calais. We saw Byron, now we'll see Brian Warner, other part of Team Genesis. They'll take on Bill Kennedy, the Ken Racing, Tim Pardish, 85 Firebird. A little red there for Warner, 005. Kennedy with 019 on the green side. 10:33 for Warner, 10:36 for Kennedy. Next up, Pat Glade out of New Jersey, the Somerset, taking on Joe Lisa and his 87 Camaro. Also out of New Jersey. Nice wheels up start there for Glade. The Glade Racing Somerset, Chevrolet powered. 10:14 with a 7 for Glade. Lisa, 10:18 with a 7. Junior Dragsters, we need you to the lanes, please. Junior Dragsters to the lanes, please. Looks like we're coming down to our final 3 here in Superstock. Troy Huntsberry out of Maryland, the Camaro, taking on Bill Arpine, the 05 Cobalt out of Connecticut. Huntsberry in 039 green, Arpine 040 on the red. 8,985.7 for Alpine. 10.09 with a 1 for Huntsberry. And the last here in Superstock, Shane Oakes, Oaksville, PA. The rough and ready VP Fuels 99 Firebird. .10.07, 115 for Oaks. Switch gears here. We'll go into index racing as we'll go into Super Gas. Junior Dragsters, need you to the lanes, please. Junior Dragsters to the lanes, please. First pair to be Guy Hansen and Henry Stanfill. This will be the 4th time trial run for Super Gas. Hansen big time right there with the 275 red. He's got a free pass this time. Won't make it with the 986, 993 for Stanfill on the 042 reaction time. John Puliak comes up right now, 94 Beretta. The pipe fitter taking on Chuck Rothermel, the C&E Rothermel Racing 01 Grand Am. Comes down to the 992.5 for Puliak, 988.8 for Rothermel. Carry the number, cross the 1. Rothermel there by a 1/10 of a second. Leonard Rialdo to take on Mike Moniz. The Moniz, the Mark Equipment and Atlas Engineer Vega. That's his first and last pass. Well, actually, that'd be the last time he gets a free pass on with that because he had a red light start with 006. Rialdo a 10.02. Moniz runs it closer to the index, the 994, but the red light would have. We were in eliminations. Darren Wood comes up right now, the 67 Chevy 2 out of Connecticut. He says he wants to be one. Taking on Ted Leahy, the 91 Cutlass, the GM Performance Parts. Warren Johnson, the old Warren Johnson Pro Stock. He's out of Massachusetts. Junior Dragster to the lanes, please. Junior Dragster, need you to the staging lanes, please, for your second qualifying session. Junior Dragster to the staging lanes, please. $999.2 for Wood. Leahy by a $1,000 on with the index, $998 with a 9. So Leahy with the 020. Just make sure he just slows that down just a smidge. Tom Stava to take on Iggy Boychesko. The battle of the Corvette Roadsters. a 63 Roadster for Stava, a 2017 Roadster for Wojciesko. With the 019 red. Stava on the green side with an 031. 989.3 for Wojciesko. 983.4 for Stava. Bill Monroe taking on Ian St. Pierre. Silverette Roadster taking on the 27 Roadster Chevrolet powered. 994 for Monroe, 994 for St. Pierre. Both had red lights, 012 to an 014 red. Steve Paquin to take on Tom Smith Jr. That's Chevy 2 out of PA. Taking on the 55 Bel Air of Paquin. He's retired. A great looking 55 Bel Air. Better light with the Paquin 009. Runs an 88 on the 90 index. Smith a 99 on the 90 index. Next up, 64 Corvette. Doug Marsters taking on the 27 Ford Roadster Dodge powered of Kevin Carey. Marsters 008 on the reaction time. Let's see what he can do on the index. 1009. He's going to have to tighten that up. Carey, an 026, runs a 92. We'll get him down the track a few times. Marsters has to definitely pick it up, getting close to that index. Next up, Michael Handress, the C2 converter short line Cavalier out of New York. Going to take on this great looking 71 Barracuda Roadster. Tim Quinton out of Vermont. Thing's only 3 weeks old. Still trying to work out the bugs. So it looks like we're going to report we might have a piece on the track. So we're going to go down there and make sure we get that taken off there. Just a little bit more time to take a look at Quinton's 71 Barracuda Roadster. Tell you, nice and simple look. There we go. We'll crank it back up. And he'll take on Handers here with his 04 Cavalier. Like I said, Quinton still trying to work out the bullets on the Barracuda Roadster. 992 for Handers. He's ready to go. Got to work on the reaction time, but other than that, it is there. Oscar Oates coming up right now, taking on Jerry Pierce, the Pierce and Seltzer Cutlass out of New York, taking on Oscar Oates. 03 Corvette Roadster. Better reaction goes to Pierce here. Let's see what he can do on the index of the 990. 992, 157 with an 020 reaction time. I think Pierce will be ready to go in round one of Super Gas. Next up, Jason Kenny taking on Justin Lopes. Kenny, the class of the field here, out of Pennsylvania. Lopes out of Massachusetts with his 63 Chevy 2. The deed would have been done at the red light, but it was a 993 for Lopes, 988.9 for Jason Kenny. Scott Giordano, the 57 Corvette Roadster, taking on Mike Sawyer. Taking on Sawyer and his 2018 Corvette Roadster. The cool thing about Sawyer's car is it's got working taillights. And he can drive it. Multi-time champion Sawyer is. Runs the index with a 4, 990 with a 4. We want to talk about a 15 package. 011 reaction time, runs a 90 with a 4. Giordano a 93 with a 5. We saw the Suns. Now we see Dad Ray Sawyer coming up right now. The Sun Impact number 5. Hoosier Autometer Select. Sponsored out of Acton, Massachusetts. Taking on Rich Price. With many accolades underneath his name here on the screen out of Pennsylvania. Reaction time advantage went to Price. Both run an 89. Price with a 9. Sawyer with a 7. All right, we're going to bring back junior dragsters for their second qualifying session. And this will be your first call for top dragster. All right, before you get going there, Alan, let's make sure your microphone has battery. It has a red light on the bottom. Okay, we're good. All right.
I fell for that last time. Tommy Tape, top dragster, come on down. Presented by Select Performance. We're ready for your final qualifying session. We'll get the ladder set. We'll go into eliminations later on. Tommy Tape, top dragster, to the lanes. And here come the little cars for their second qualifying session. We'll get the ladder set, and they'll be in eliminations later on today. Tyler Cumming in the left side. Kendall Willard in the right side. You can actually get started in the NHRA Summit Junior Drag Racing League at 5 years old. A couple of years of making singles, and you can start getting into competition. As you get older, you're allowed to go faster. As you gain more experience. And it's amazing to think that there are literally thousands of these cars across the country. And the number of youngsters that have gone through the program and gone on to success in the NHRA, whether it be in the Lucas Oil Series or the Weekly Bracket Series or the Mellow Yellow Series, is astounding. And the whole thing started because a kid in New Jersey couldn't catch a football. Really? Kendall Willard rolls in deep on the stage, which is allowed. She comes out on the superior side of the two reaction times here on this practice run. They try to get him dialed in. The younger kids mostly use kind of a crate motor, so it just keeps it nice and simple. 1235, 46 miles an hour for Kendall. Tucker goes 1267 at 49 miles an hour. But as we roll through the juniors and get up into the older kids and the quicker cars, you are going to get an absolute microcosm of drag racer mentality. Because what started off with a simple idea of build a little car and put a lawnmower motor on it has turned into billet this and titanium that and carbon fiber like you wouldn't believe. If I handed you a 5-horse Briggs & Stratton, do you think you could get 80 horsepower out of it? Drag racers do. Now it's Cody coming. And Jacob Byron, reading left to right, and the design of the cars has come a long ways as well. (12:17), 50 miles an hour for Cody. Jacob rolls through the timers at 12:16 and 52 miles an hour. And now it's Emma Stadulski, part of the Willard Racing team over there on the left side, and McKenna Mason. Yeah, there's so many great things that have come out of the junior program. The youngsters learning basic car skills and basic maintenance skills and responsibilities. And you need some motivation, put a junior in the garage and tell your youngster that it's going to sit there until the grades improve. Eric is probably the most famous of the junior dragster graduates, but if you look up in the Pro Series, Sean Langdon, of course, Leah Pritchett, Chris McGahey, J.R. Todd. As a matter of fact, I don't mean to put any pressure on you, Aragona, but we got a 1403, 44 miles an hour for McKenna, 1486, 33 miles an hour for Emma. If you run down to the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series and the Mellow Yellow Series, the only two that have not had a junior graduate be a world champion are Pro Stock Motorcycle and Comp Eliminator. I was kind of busting on Frank's chops last year at the banquet, but man, you need to get one of your kids out of those juniors and into the big cars and take care of that. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. Here's Mike Antoinette, the next generation of the Antoinette family, getting started here at 9 years old. Yeah, Sean Bellamere, the reigning funny car champ, who is here this weekend, Alcohol funny car champ, is a junior graduate. Megan Meyer, who is the Alcohol dragster champ, is a junior graduate. .082 reaction time, 11:25 elapsed time at 55 miles an hour, and we'll move up in age a couple of years. Tommy Tape, top dragster, need you to the lanes, please. Tommy Tape, top dragster, to the lanes. As the kids get older, they're allowed to go faster and listen to the engines. Olivia Ciara on the left side, the Wild Child. On the side of that monostrut winged car, and Seth Noble. You want to know what his aspiration is? That's pretty simple. Just read the side of the car. Top Fuel Seth. Now, they do qualify based on reaction time. Best reaction time was 0:29 in the first session, so we'll keep an eye on it, see if somebody gets in front of that. If somebody gets in front of that. There we go, giving Olivia a little direction up, get her closer to the starting line as she now bumps in. Seth's car sounded like it quit out there and then it came back to life. Could be the first ever junior with a throttle stop. Wouldn't that be something? 951, 68 miles an hour for Seth. 887 at 73 miles an hour for Olivia. And again, racing down to the 8th mile, just dragster mentality, right? Drag racer mentality. You start off with a 5-horse Briggs & Stratton. Who would have ever thought someday they're going to have to put a speed limit on them and go, you can't go faster than 90 miles an hour? Like, come on, man. Hey, Top Dragster. Oh, attention in the pits. Top Dragster, listen up. You guys are next if you want to make this final qualifier. I need you in the lanes, please. Top Dragster. We need you in the staging lanes. That's Tyler Baleo in the left side. Connor Cleary in the right side. Look at John Fink pretending that he's down here just, with his grip-o-meter, checking the traction. He's scouting talent. I mean, I'm not trying to make you nervous, Jackie, but he's been up here paying a lot of attention to these junior kids. I'm just saying. Just saying. Tyler a little anxious when it came time to hit the gas. It was 128 red, 879, 74 miles an hour, 915 at 69 miles an hour for Connor Cleary. And here comes FA3, Frankie Aragona. Which car do you think has more billet on it, this one or his dad's? Okay, well, now his dad's, but before he ended up with that 6-cylinder he's got right now, there's no question this one did. I don't think it's even close. Ryan Schmidt out of Berlin in that little half-scale built car. I love the fact that header technology has gotten to the point where the pipes are so long and they've got stepped headers in it because, you're trying to get another half a horsepower out of that baby. Pro stock ain't got nothing on junior dragsters. .887, 73 miles an hour for Ryan. 892, 72 miles an hour for Frankie the Third. And Frankie the Third, I don't know if his dad down there can hear me or not, but an 024 reaction time, and he goes to the top. New #1 qualifier at an 024 reaction time, and that is Frankie the Third. And if you're wondering where he learned to cut lights like that, it wasn't from his dad. Ava Maloney and Paul Stalba. Quick question, hypothetically speaking, Tommy Stalba's super gas car blows up, Paul Stalba's junior car blows up. Which one gets fixed first? Uh-oh. Had one die down here. We're going to need a starter box. Dun, 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 dun. Let me tell you, if you know Mom Stalba, you know whose car is going to get fixed first. No question about it. Tom's actually been having a pretty good little run in the junior car since they've been back in business here the last month or so. And Tom is organizing a big junior dragster race. Going to take place later this summer. Whoa, that didn't last long. An 882 on the scoreboard at 74 miles an hour. Ava goes 908 at 72 miles an hour. Paul Stalba 016, and that'll make him your new #1 qualifier as he moves up to the top of the sheet. So Frankie Aragona's reign lasted one pair of cars. Exactly one. Before Paul Stalba stole it away from him. Paul Stalba did learn those reaction times from his dad. James Antoinette I'm trying to figure out if that's JA3, right? Isn't there already a James Antoinette 1 and 2? Is that JA3 or JA4? And Madison Douglas and the black and blue machine. Antoinette, 10 years old. Madison, 12 years old. What do you got for me down at the stripe at 85.72 miles an hour for Madison? And it looked like something right down there past the 8th mile finish line came off the car. You can see it sitting down there about the 726-foot mark. I don't think it was a pilot chute. I don't think it was a hood. So here comes Emily Stalba, whose goal in life right now is to take the #1 spot away from her brother. Guaranteed. And Amelia Stadisky over here on the right side, who would like to do exactly the same thing. You got to get side at 0.16 reaction. And see, this is an interesting matchup because watch these two cars. Amelia's car still got the crate motor set up. But that doesn't mean she can't win. It's a typical bracket race. When we get into eliminations, she would get a large head start. But all you got to do is be able to cut it light and run the dial. So Paul is #1 at 0.16. His sister Emily on the left side was on the wrong side of the tree last time. Locked and loaded. .887.72 miles an hour for Emily to go with an 0.62 reaction time. So her brother, at least for now, is going to hold on to that top spot. 11.93 for Amelia at 53 miles per. And I believe this will be the final car in the age category, and then we'll step up. Here comes Lucas Willard of Leominster, Mass. Oh, there's one more? Oh, okay. Lucas Willard, 0.44 on the reaction timer. Make that 0.45 on the reaction timer. That's going to move him up the qualifying sheet a little bit. 11.62, 52 miles an hour on the qualifying run. So Lucas moves up to the #5 spot. They're all still chasing Paul Stalba, who's sitting #1, Frank Aragona 2. But this is Chris Corey. Now, Chris Corey was the #1 qualifier when we started this session. He's been bumped back a couple of spots, but he's got an opportunity right here. If he can be better than 0.16, he can take it back. 030. 030. Not bad, but not going to be good enough to get him the number one spot. Down to the 8th mile stripe on the Ford side of the racetrack. 868, 71 miles an hour for Chris. And we'll get the ladder set as we move into the older kids. All right, we're moving into the older kids. That's Tori Iacono in the old left lane. Team Bernie's. That's Josh LeBlanc in the right lane. Number one qualifier here, Emma Aragona at 006. You want the pole? You're going to have to work for it. Whoa, check it out. Both reaction times are 009. Tori left, Josh right. Good sprint down to the stripe, a 789, 81 miles an hour for Tori. 817, 78 miles an hour for Josh. 009 to 009 on the reaction timer. And somewhere back in the staging lanes, Emma Aragona is going 009. That's cute. That's cute. Now it's Jaylee Suley. Really? FTI? Really? What does Paul make for junior dragsters? I mean, they make clutches, they make converters, they make... Do they make junior clutches? I don't know why they wouldn't, I guess. And Linda Prizer. Listen to that thing banging down there. Let's make a 16-to-1 compression, single-cylinder motor running on alcohol, because that's what our junior dragster needs. Apparently, 00 is the order of the day in qualifying here for the juniors. Ooh. Linda jumps a little too soon. Going to need to back that up before we get into eliminations later. Watch him sprint down to the stripe. 793, 81 miles an hour for Jay Lee. Linda goes 809 at 80 miles per. And you remember, right, how there was one altered in Super Comp? Well, there's one altered-ish in Junior Dragster. And Jason DiTucci is the grandson of the guy that's got that one in Super Comp. This thing's cool. Hey, I like guys with imagination. You want to build a car for the kid that's like yours? Why not? Matt Shell on the left side. Up from Chester. $790 is the standard in this category. And that's why you see so many of these things right down there in the 80 and 790 ranks, because, you know, you just got to put a speed limit on drag racers, whether you're talking about top fuel cars or whether you're talking about junior drag racers. Gently bumping their way into the stage. Now, let me tell you, that is gentle. Matt Scholl is the Steve Torrance of staging over there. Blinked the bottom bulb 6 times. 016 on the bulb ain't bad. It ain't going to get you the number 1 spot, but it ain't bad. I probably shouldn't use like ain't when I'm, teaching grammar to kids, right? Who cares? At 784, 83 miles an hour. They'll have to pull that back a smidge. 805 at 80 miles an hour for Jason. 016 light for Matt, and that's going to slide him up to the number 4 spot. Emma Aragona still sitting number 1 with the 006 from earlier. And she is going to be up next. First, we're going to do a quick little look at the racetrack down there on the O'Reilly side, and we'll be right back at it. Hey, this is going to be final call. Tommy Tape Top Dragster, presented by Select Performance. Come on down. Final call. Tommy Tape Top Dragster, need you to the staging lanes. Hey, remember, fans, crew, and racers, please, please, please protect yourself and others from COVID-19 by wearing a mask or face covering so you don't spread germs as you talk, sneeze, or cough. And wear one if you're going to be anywhere near other people, especially within 6 feet. Face coverings are required when talking to any track official. Also, race control is closed, and if you have a question, need to speak to a race official, just call or text Dave Moan. You've all got his number. Or find the official in the back of staging lanes, and we will get you handled there. Please stay at least 6 feet away from anyone who's not in your household. Don't clump or congregate at the track. And we appreciate your support as we continue to fight our way through the pandemic.
MicroStrategies and its drag racing team, Von Giovanni Racing, knows what it takes to succeed, both on the track and in business.
MicroStrategies has been transforming business through innovation for nearly 35 years. Our core focus is to help our customers manage, mine, and monetize their data and informational assets, utilizing technology to drive business, the same way we utilize technology to win races. We take a high volume and variety of data from multiple sources to help us succeed in our racing program. Whether we're finishing first in a big race or helping our clients grow their business, it's all about the teamwork and the analytics of winning.
With a dedication and passion to cross the finish line first, the MicroStrategy staff on the Bon Giovanni Racing team are constantly pushing forward, analyzing data to increase performance, and striving to be the best.
Abby Krotow, the RGA car on the left side, and Emma Aragona. Emma must have some pull with Dad, or maybe it's Granddad, I don't know. But anybody that knows the Aragonas know that every race car they've had for the past 187 years has been blue. And Emma went, I want purple. And you know that both her dad and her grandpa went, well, you know, Emma, we went, no, I want purple. And her car's purple. I don't think that's the last battle Dad's going to lose. So Abby trying to steal the number one spot. Emma currently holds on to it with a 006 reaction time. And you know her brother's going to hear it, right? Because he's only qualified second. Wow. .789, 83 miles an hour for Abby. 789, 82 miles an hour for Emma. Abby took a swing, came up 018, so not bad, but not going to get the number one spot. Emma goes 014 on the reaction timer. So she'll stay number one, but she's showing that she is consistent on that Christmas tree as well. And now it's Kyle Rice, which will be the last car in category. And then we will set the ladder. 9 cars in this age group. That number one qualifier is going to come with a bye run in round number 1. And unless Kyle can be 005 or better, that's going to be Emma. What do you think is more important to Emma, the bye run or the $50 from Dad? Oh, yeah, I know. The $50 from Dad. .808, 79 miles an hour for Kyle Rice. He does not get the reaction timer, so Dad, get your wallet out. Emma wants $50. She wants it now. Thanks to Man Electric for putting up the award. For the Junior Dragster number one qualifiers, we'll get the ladder set, and we'll see them in eliminations a little bit later on. Okay, what we have now is Tommy Tape Top Dragster, Comp Eliminator, and Tommy Tape Top Sportsman in final qualifying. And after that, we're going to go into eliminations. And the rest of the day, we'll be racing for real, touching up some stuff on the starting line, and then we'll get back after it at about 12:30. If you haven't had lunch and you want some, swing on down to the Smoke Shack Barbecue right behind the main grandstand. and they will take care of you. We're about 2 hours away from that first round of alcohol, maybe a little less than that. But we continue on here with day number 2 of the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series here at beautiful New England Dragway. Bell's Electrical Contractors has the Best Reaction Time Award. $100 is the best reaction time in stock and super stock on a winning run against an opponent. I'll get tuned up on that tree when we get ready for round number 1. GM Parts Now, the Best Package Award. Talk a little bit about that. Best package on a winning run. Must have the decal. If you don't have it yet, swing by the NHRA Tech Trailer. Year-end bonus available as well. And we want to say thanks to the folks at Oaks Landscape for the Bounty Hunter Award. By the way, I need a list of bounty hunters. Or bounty, not hunters. I need a list of the bounty wearers. Who the bounty is on. I should know that. No, it seems like it was 500 years ago the last time we raced, doesn't it? ATI also has winner runner-up bonuses for the divisional events. And we appreciate everything they do for us here in the stock and super stock arena at the Northeast. We're going to do the official count of how many Tommy Tape top dragsters have no power adder. Let's see, how many cars do we have here? 27 cars on the sheet right now. I'm saying less than 10 have no power adder. Anybody want to take a bet? Nick Lady again on the left side. 600-inch Chevrolet and a big blue bottle on the back. Scott Fournier on the right side. 572-inch big wedge Dodge, and that's got a bottle on the back. Team TSR for Sean and group. So the first 2 are both bottle rockets. We got Pro Charger cars. We got regular Charger cars. I don't think we got a turbo car here this week, do we? I don't think we do. That's a loud car. Loud cars scare me. Loud cars scare me a lot. Sean Fournier goes 693 at 193 miles an hour. Not bad. Not better. Nick goes 693 at 192. He also does not improve. You want to be number 1, you're going to have to outrun Al Kenny. And you do not have a big window to do that. He's number 1 at 619. The floor of the category is 610. And speaking of Al Kenny, ta-da! There's Al Kenny. Al Kenny with that Stennett-built supercharged engine. So a belt-driven tunnel ram is his power adder of choice. Warren Cotrera over here in the undercover car, and I do not believe that's got a power adder. Definitely no turbo, definitely no blower, and I don't see no bottle, so we're going to make that number 1 on the non-power adders. I still think there's less than 10. Lauren in the right side, Al Kenny in the left. Team Select Performance. .209 for Al Kenny. 221 miles an hour. 726 for Lauren at 184 miles an hour. Al Kenny will stay number 1. Lauren will stay number 25. So far, 1 car without a power adder. As we continue rocking our way through final qualifying. Compliminator, need you, please. Bob Pachilla. The Midnight Sun. That's a nitrous guzzling 781-inch engine. 781 cubic inches. Do we need nitrous? Why not? Yeah, why not? Rich Jameson. That's the rock and roll racing team over here on the right side. That one's got a bottle on the back of it as well. A couple of big power adders here. As with the rest of the categories, this is the last time today that red lights are going to be given away for free. They're going to get expensive later on. 654, 205 on the right side, 658 on the left side. Bob actually picks up a little bit, 6.58, 203. Slide him up to the number 6 spot. Al Kenny still best in category as we continue through final qualifying here. Now, with 27 cars on the sheet, that number 1 qualifier will have the solo in round number 1. So if anybody's got anything to take that spot away from Kenny, could come with a free ride in round 1. That's Paul Neal on the left side. That's Joe Wallace on the right side. That looks like 2 cars with no power adders between them. So our total goes from 1 to 3 here. Talking about Martin's Dan Page built 632-inch twin 4-barrel machine. And Walls with that power plant out of the Sunset Racecraft stables. Got 1 big carburetor on it, but it looks like 1's enough. 668, 198 for Paul, 698, 192 for Joe. They both basically repeat their runs they made yesterday within a hunt or two. And that'll bring up. It's another one of those scary loud cars. Somebody's got to tell me when the loud cars are coming. They're scary. Jim Dunn, if you can't figure out what the power adder is on that, I would like to say welcome to New England Dragway for the first time ever. Deb Genova in the left side. Out of Barry, New Hampshire. Barry, New Hampshire, home of the MRN's Dave Moody. One of the most recognizable voices in NASCAR. Jim Dunn over here in the altered. And he's got that big old root style supercharger on top. And in case you haven't figured it out, yes, an altered is allowed to run in top dragster. They're bumping ever so gently into the beams. Another loud car. Deb Givanova pounds the tree at 003. I think it was 683 at 194. 680 at 202 miles an hour for Jim Dunn. So both again make good solid runs. And here comes a couple of power adder cars. Over in the left side is Dave Petrovsky. Getting a little oxygen out of the bottle sitting right behind the motor back there. And James Beckman out of Jim's Welding Service with that Pro Charger. Laying down on the front of that big block Chevrolet. Oh, I'm sorry, big block Ford. Force feeding the Ford at 540 cubic inches. Beckman currently sitting in the number 5 spot, but he's got a ways to go if he wants to try to steal that number 1 position away from Mr. Kenny. Glick fire protection on the side of Petrovsky's car. More loud cars. We got a lot of loud cars. 639, 214. That's an improvement for Beckman by 1/1000th of a second. Improves his performance, but not his position. Petrovsky goes 671 at 202. Will remain in the number 8 spot. Al Kenny will remain in the number 1 spot. Competition eliminator, if you're not in the staging lanes, quick question. Why not? Come on, we need you. Comp eliminator. Tommy Tape, top sportsman. Be ready. We're going to be calling you in shortly. Gary Kobe now. Connecticut-based car on the left side, and Frederick Perkins. Fast Fred. That Pro Charge 540. Fast Fred is living up to his name. 624, 222 miles an hour. He's already got top speed of the meet, but he didn't quite have enough to take that number 1 spot away from Al Kenny. Fred will end up in the number 2. Gary Kobe goes 708 at 191 miles an hour. Slows a couple from his best run yesterday, and he'll go back and get ready. for round number 1, which will be up later. Val DiGenova. That is a Dan Page house car with rare Morrison power and nothing boosting it. Frank Genovese out of the Granite Springs garage, and I don't see a booster on that either. So let's add 2 more to the no power adder pile. Unofficially, I've got 6. Frank's out of power at about 250 feet. Val goes 680 at 195 MPHs. And Frank is just kind of coasting down the boulevard. Let's see, that's a bottle car in the left lane. That's a no power adder car in the right lane. 10 might not have been enough. Albert Stafiri driving that Dan Page built thing in the left side, and Kyle Contreras in the undercover car over here. All right, listen up in the pits. Attention in the pits. Tommy Tape, Top Sportsman. Come on down. Need you in the lanes, please. Tommy Tape, Top Sportsman, presented by Select Performance. Now would be a good time. Kyle Contreras. Come on down. Currently sitting with a 706. Stafiri's in on the front page at a 685. As a matter of fact, he's run that number twice in the 2 opportunities yesterday. .691, 195 miles an hour for Al. 707 for Kyle. At 188, both drivers stay right where they were. We're getting down towards the end of it. Here's Rebecca Miller in the left side. And I do believe everybody in the Miller family races. It's one of those, if you're going to be in the Miller family, you have to race. It's like, but Dad, I want to play the tuba. No, put your helmet on. You're going to race. That's all there is to it. That's Brandon Miller over here on the right side. Brandon's got a special nickname for Becky. Calls her Mom. Aww. I wonder if Becky talks about Brandon like my dad used to talk about my sister. I don't know. I think about these things. .684 for Mom, 193 miles an hour. 745 for Brandon, 180 miles an hour. Becky Miller makes the front page, slides up to the number 16 spot. Brandon slows down 200, will stay right where he was. Al Kenny will stay on top. I don't know what made me just think of that. I was just thinking about, when I was younger, my dad used to call me, when my sister graduated, he said, did you hear what my daughter did? My daughter was great. She graduated 3rd in her class. And then whenever she did something stupid, my dad would say, do you hear what your stupid sister did? I go, well, wait a minute. Kenny Moses and Brian Corey. Now, I'm looking at Brian's car, and I see a lot of solenoids on that. I don't see the bottle, but I see the solenoids. So I'm counting that as a power adder car. I am. Because I can. Because I'm making the rules. The guy with the microphone makes the rules. Remember that. Unless Bill forgets to give me batteries, then I don't get to make any rules, and it's really annoying and upsetting. So as of right now, I'm unofficially sitting on 8 no power adder cars. .667, 196 miles an hour for Kenny. Brian goes 684 at 197 miles an hour. Moses 7. Corey's 15. Top Sportsman, come on down. Attention in the pits. Tommy Tape, Top Sportsman. Need you the lanes, please. That's Rick Bell on the left side. That's Nick Maloney on the right side. And I don't believe either one of them has a power adder. So I am still... Well, matter of fact, I add them to the list, and that's 10. I got 2 pull up in the water that have bottles on them, and I think that's the last 2. I think I nailed it. How about me? Nailed it. Nailed it. Double O comes up on both sides of the tree. Double O red for Rick. Double O green for Nick. 676 for Nick. 197. He'll slow by 4. 681 for Rick. That's actually his best. He'll make the front page, moving up to the number 13 spot. Al Kenny's still number 1. Fast Fred still with top speed. Final 2 cars pulling up right now. That's Nick Willard, part of the TT Motorsports, and Justin Mason, part of the Dan Page fleet, both with bottles. Not sure Justin is using his bottle. 692, Nick Willard, 193 miles an hour. Justin Mason goes 763 at 176, and Al Kenny's going to end up number 1. 619. Fred Perkins going to end up number 2, but he's got top speed at 222 miles an hour and change. Scott Hall did not run that session, but he sits 3rd. Richard Jameson 4th. James Beckman 5. Bob DeHita. Kenny Moses. Dave Petrosky rounding out the quick 8. We'll get our field set for Tommy Tape Top Dragster. Get the ladder printed and be ready to go. Quick touch up on the starting line. Competition Eliminator. Out next. Tommy Tape Top Sportsman need you to the staging lanes, please. Comp and Top Sportsman, and that will end qualifying. And then it'll be race time for everybody for the rest of the day. Welcome, everybody, New England Dragway, an absolutely beautiful day. Great to have you folks out with us. Remember, just keep your social distance from other groups. We want to make sure that everybody that came healthy goes home healthy, and we certainly want to encourage you. If you're not feeling well, please come join us on another day. Stay home and take care of yourself, and let's see if we can slow the spread. As I mentioned before, if you have business with race control, please just call or text Dave Moan. Everybody's got his number. And as Mom's been telling you since you were 3 years old, wash your hands often. Cover your cough or sneeze. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Just be careful, use common sense, and let's get through this.
America's food supply, our heritage, and many of our freedoms are under attack by animal rights extremists who are waging war against America's farmers, sportsmen, and animal owners. The food we eat, sport hunting, fishing, and even owning a pet are all at risk. Protect the Harvest exists to defend our way of life, to preserve our food supply, and to stand up for our individual rights. Now is the time to educate yourself. Learn more at protecttheharvest.com.
It's time for a new mattress. And who are your mattress go-to guys? PC Richard & Son, that's who. Our mattress experts will help you find the mattress of your dreams. All the best brands at the guaranteed lowest prices. When you want it, need it, just gotta have it, we'll get it there the next day. So sleep better with the right mattress from the right mattress company. Oh yeah, it's time for a new mattress. Get to PC Richard & Son, the company you can trust since 1909.
These are the racers that you're going to want to beat. If you want to pick up a bounty in comp, you're going to have to beat Frank Aragona. In super stock, Steve Camella. In stock, Ali Dahl. Super comp, Tom Stalba. Super gas is going to be Ray Sawyer, since Charlie is not here this weekend. So Ray, you've got the price on your head. Super street is Brian Sawyer. Top dragster is Al Kenny. And top sportsman is Ronnie Proctor. So if you pull up next to one of those racers in eliminations, you got a chance of picking up a little extra cash. And for those of you who may not be aware, Charlie is not here because he didn't want to be here. Charlie is not here because of the Canadian border crossing being closed. And we have got a ton of Canadian racers, Canadian fans, and Canadian friends that we are missing here this weekend. We just want to send our best up north of the border and look forward to when you folks can join us again. This is a story of two altereds. Richard Prizer with the 4-cylinder altered, and Santo Volpe with the obnoxious altered. A blown small block, AA altered on methanol, a 6-second, 200-mile-an-hour beast in the right side. A 4-cylinder, twin overhead cam Chevrolet, naturally aspirated in the left side. If you put both tires of the car in the left lane together, you still wouldn't have as much rubber as you got on one slick on the car on the right. Now, if you're betting first the finish line, take Santo. Go with me. I'm a student of the game. I have watched much drag racing. However, if you're going for who's going to qualify best, Prizer might have a shot. It's all about the index down on the scoreboard. The faster car is obviously in the right lane, but this is qualifying. It's how far can you go under your index. When we get into eliminations, head start would go to the slower car, and then you just got to get there first. Comp is fun. Comp is crazy. Comp has a lot of ridiculous cars. Right here, just two. It's just me or does Santo's car sound like it was popping down there? I mean, like the top of low gear was popping. Down the racetrack, it didn't do much either. 703 at 195. A 962 for Rich Prizer at 141 miles an hour, and neither driver is going to be exactly thrilled with those runs. With 11 cars on the property, they're going to end up being number 10 and number 11. Frank Aragona is currently sitting number 1. And if he doesn't hold on to that, boy, is he going to hear it from Emma. But he is 68 under the index right now. He's also, as I mentioned, the guy that's going to have the price on his head when we get into eliminations later on with the Division I bounty program. Top Sportsman, if you're not in the staging lanes, you are officially tardy, and it won't be long before you're going to be overrun by stock eliminator cars. By the way, listen up in the stock pits. I am not calling you to the lanes yet, but stockers, I just want you to be aware. My designated pairs, Robinson, Abrahamson, you're designated. Walters, Letillier, that's Bob, you're designated. Valentine, Varaca, you are my 3 designated pairs. So when we call stock, I'm going to need those 6 cars to head up first, please. Not yet, but it won't be long. So after we had a story of 2 altereds, we have a story of 1 dragster, and 1 car that rolled off the assembly line and probably never dreamed it would look like that. That's Ronnie Proctor. Driving the Miskovsky car out of the Media Dragway. And that's Joe Carnichal for East Coast Surfaces. The I Super Modified 6-cylinder rear-wheel drive Chevy Cavalier. You go to the dealer, you get a Chevy Cavalier. What options do you want? None, because I'm taking everything off. Take out the 4-cylinder, take out the transverse, take it to East Tex Race Cars, and turn it into a supermod. I mean, think about it. An 06 Cavalier rolled off the assembly line as a front-wheel drive 4-cylinder. You think it ever thought, hey, someday wheelie bars? That'll be me. Someday. He probably told all his friends, someday I'm going to have wheelie bars now. And yeah, right. How many martinis did you have at lunch? In qualifying, however, Carnichal is running pretty hard. He is the number 4 car right now, running against index. Rule of thumb, look at the number on the scoreboard and subtract 0.6 of a second. If you're quicker than that, you're good. See, Carnicel's car has still not made a good clean move to 100 feet. There's definitely some performance in there if they can get that thing to calm down at this end. 713 for Proctor in the dragster, 190 miles an hour. He slows a full tenth from yesterday. 893 at $1.52 for Joe. He slows 300 from yesterday. And we're going to hold up here for a second. See something down there in the lane, 667 feet on the right side, right in the middle of the groove. I think it's a York peppermint patty wrapper. Let me tell you, that LASIK is like magic.
Are you feeling the sensation?
True story, just because stupid things pop into my head from time to time. I have a CDL, so every 2 years I have to go in and get a physical to keep my driver's license current. I go to the same place every year. I went in 1 year. They told me, you know, you might need glasses by the time you come back. You passed, but you just barely passed. And I said, okay. 2 years later, I go back to the same place. I go in for the eye examination part, and they said, okay, stand here. And she looks at my chart and looks at me and says, can you read line 5? I said, I can read line 8. And she said, okay, do that. And I read it. And she looked at my chart and looked at me and looked at my chart and looked at me and looked at me real suspiciously. And she said, close your left eye and read line 7 backwards. So I did that. And her eyes made the whole circle again, and she's trying to figure out just exactly what's going on here. I told her I had LASIK 3 months ago, and she went, oh, that explains it. All clear at the top end of the racetrack. Here come a couple of supermods, Jerry Russo and Pete Diagnolo. You were what? Lazy? No. No. Actually, true story. I went in and had an eye exam one time, and I was kind of clowning around with the nurse when she came in, and she took my blood pressure, took all that kind of stuff, and we were kind of mouthing back and forth. And she walked out, and she said, "Stand here." She said, "What's the smallest thing you can read on that chart?" And I said, "Down at the bottom, it says printed in China." She said, "Funny guy, get back in the room." That was the end of my eye exam. Couple of super mods here. Jerry Russo on the left side. He's got a big motor, 350 inches. Pete Diagnolo's got a little motor. That's why there is a difference alphabetically speaking. One's a B, one's an E. Diagnolo with that Martino power plant, as in Tom Martino. The 104 Contractors team, and their name's going to be on the side of a few cars here this weekend. Whee! Doesn't that look like fun? I'm telling you, I got to get me one of those. Down to the stripe in final qualifying, we got 746 at 161 miles an hour for Diagnolo. That's a big move. 827 for Russo. Diagnolo 746 puts him 51 into the index, going to bump him up into the number 8 spot. Aragona's still in the number 1 spot. And speaking of Aragona, here comes the champ. Three guys in the history of NHRA have won the Comp Eliminator World Championship 3 times. David Rampy, Bill Moropoulos, and Frank Aragona. It's kind of cool out in Pomona. Into last year, all 3 of them happened to be there, and they got together for a little group photo op, and Frankie's looking at those 2 legends and going, man, I don't know if I belong with these 2. I like, yes, sir, you absolutely do. That billet Dart Schlocko 6-cylinder that is just an absolute killer in the J-altered automatic. Look at the index down there on the scoreboard. See where it says 804? Frank Aragona yesterday ran 735, and the beauty of comp is it's performance-based. You don't have to worry about breaking out in comp. You just got to get there. And when you got a car that'll run that fast, as a general rule, you can get there. 738 at 179 miles an hour for a 6-cylinder. And now it's 4-cylinder time. And that's another one of the beauties of Competition Eliminator, because the way the rules are written, Your car is categorized by a number of things, like what kind of chassis and how many cylinders and what kind of induction and cubic inches and transmission and on and on and on. So if you look at the rules and go, you know what, I can build a 4-cylinder dragster and it should easily be able to run quicker than 874, then that's what you do. And this is Lee Zane, the former world champ in his own right. Not too bad with the brake pedal either. And that is a 4-cylinder, 200 cubic inch, automatic transmission, F dragster automatic. If he wants the top spot, he needs to run 805. He runs 810. A 4-cylinder just went 810 at 161.9 miles an hour. I got to get me one of them. I got to get me a lot of things. And it looks like Francofronte is going to be the final comp car in this round of qualifying. Weather conditions right now just not really conducive to picking up if you made a good clean run yesterday. I don't have to tell you fans here at New England Dragway that it is plenty of warm out there. But for those following along on D1TV, I can tell you that it is 89 degrees, 47% humidity, density altitude 2,669 feet, a lot of moisture in the air. And especially for a naturally aspirated gas-burning engine, moisture is not your friend. I mean, even if Tom Martino is your engine builder, he's good, but even he can't overcome 100 grains of water. The 104 Contractors, Inc. I need to know where that name came from. I mean, why not 103 Contractors? Why not 110 Contractors? There must be a reason. All right, Frank, you have center stage. .828. It's been rolling up now. This is going to be the final class that goes down the racetrack before we go into eliminations. It is final qualifying for Tommy Tape Top Sportsman presented by Select Performance. And check out the first two cars we get to start with. Which one's cooler? I'll let you and Bill decide.
All right, Alan. I go for the 55 Bel Air, but that's my personal opinion. Don Lucia, the Bel Air out of Massachusetts, taking on John Emeretti. Well, I guess a lot of people will say the split window Corvette is the best vehicle ever made, except for those that sold them and didn't realize how more expensive they are these days if they still had them. Emeretti out of Valesgate, New York, out in the Syracuse area. This gorgeous 63 with the Ken Black 526 motor. Emeretti currently your #1 qualifier at a 668 as we head into this final qualifying session. 29 cars on the list here today. Campbell Supply Company, the banner on the side of the Corvette. Oh, Lucier bounces it forward. Hold the brake. Oh, and Emeretti gets a little squirrely there. He'll straighten it out.